All right, folks, what's shaking? Maybe you, like myself, are all heartbroken by the extended pre-patch noise that we're looking at here. Looks like 10.0 might not be dropping right away. So while we wait for you may be asking the question, what am I going to do? What am I actually going to main as far as DPS goes going into Dragonflight? There's a lot of different options out there. Some people make their tier list. They try to go and walk you through, keep it kind of suspenseful, keep it a 20-minute video. I think that's all a little bit cringe for me. For me personally, and this is my bias absolutely taking over, but I am really looking forward to playing Havoc. I know the Havoc tree is probably one of the least mature, just because Havoc doesn't have that many different skills or abilities tied to it, but I still think it's going to be a ton of fun. We've seen a couple nerfs here, but a couple buffs as well, and I think it's actually going to complement how Havoc actually shows up in the Mythic Plus space. As far as rating, I'm probably going to go with more of a Vengeance approach for rating, but speaking specifically about DPS at the moment, Havoc's going to be a bunch of fun. Same thing to be said with Fury. Fury's tree is fantastic. If you haven't spent any time on it yet, really, I think between Protection, Fury, and then Arms, as long as we're talking PvE, like Warrior is in a really fun, satisfying spot. Enhancement is not only with the way that their tree's built going to be super satisfying, not only Mythic Plus but in rating. What we also see is that Enhancement has a fantastic tier bonus right here. So nice coming right out of the new expansion, swinging some Maelstrom weapons and getting some serious DPS here. It starts to, and I don't know, there's a lot of different perspectives here. I know everybody's going beyond me because really, the only S tier are 3 melee DPS. Yeah, not super attractive. If you are a little more biased and like to go with some ranged approaches, but work with me here. Ranged is starting off a little bit slower, kind of similar to how it did with Shadowlands, but I think we'll see our DPS from our range specs start to climb up here pretty darn quick. Starting to look at a few different looks here right off the bat. I think there's a bunch of fun to be had with our rogues, with our arms warrior, with Feral. Feral got a totally new rebuild if you're less familiar with it. Beastmaster is going to continue to be a fantastic spot. I know it's kind of on the fence, but like really for what we're looking to achieve, I think you're going to see a ton of new tames that are out there. So if you're a pet collector, this will be a bunch of fun. Unholy is going to be in a great spot, as well as Frost. Frost has gotten a ton of new abilities, plus a 15% buff to its damage. Just watch out. Ass Rogue is going to be A tier again. I know often I've avoided rogues, but I think they're just going to continue to pack a wallop. Windwalker's not going anywhere. It's really, again, A tier. It's been there for a long time, it feels like, especially if you've been playing a lot of Mythic Plus. And then, in addition, if you weren't having so much fun with Enhance, you can go with Ellie as well. And I played a fair bit of Ellie here in Shadowlands, and I'm even way more excited about the direction it's going as we jump into Dragonflight. B tier, a little less exciting, but still definitely competitive. I don't mind where Shadow is right now. I think Shadow is going to have a little bit of fun to it, and I actually think priests are going to gain a whole lot more popularity as we see a few more kicks added to different groups. Frost and Fire come next. I kind of rank them interchangeably, but ultimately, like, they're both in a really fun, satisfying spot right now. Ret had some last minute changes to its trees, and it's absolutely thumping. In addition to that, it's picked up a couple of different talents here as we've kind of transitioned to call it a little bit of a build that looks closer to protection. So Ret's going to bring a ton. It's going to continue to have a bunch of burst and some viability. I'm not sure how it'll work in the Mythic Plus space, but I wouldn't be surprised if you've seen a couple Rets in rating. Up next, Survival Hunter. I'm actually sad to see Survival creep back this way. I started having a lot more fun with my Survival Hunter here in Season 4 of Shadowlands, and it was in a great spot. Hopefully I can get on the rebound here really quick. Next, looking at Affliction Warlock. I actually feel like Affliction is underrated. So it's showing up in B right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see it push up into an A. It is a absolute ton of fun from this class. So lots of fun to be had as far as Affliction goes. Up after that, where'd I go? Up after that, Sub-Rogue. Ultimately, rogues are in a great spot. Like, I'm really looking forward to my Sub-Rogue casting a lot of damage, but I've actually lined him up with I swapped races over to Night Elf, and just being able to randomly gank people and have effectively double stealth is incredibly satisfying. The last one I have in B tier, and this isn't to really even bash it. I actually think Druid's going to creep up a little higher than what people expect. We see in a few adjustments to the way their talent tree is set up, and I'm really excited where the class is. Marksmanship doesn't really excite me a whole ton, but I'm kind of crossing my fingers for it, to be perfectly honest with you. Destro, I've got it down here in the C tier. Arcane, down in the C tier. I'm a little leery of what to do with our Drakari or Dragon People specific class abilities. Now, if you think back to if you're playing some classic Lich King, or if you go to Legion with the Demon Hunters, usually when we get a hero class, they usually have one spec that's totally fantastic, amazing. We're going to have to wait a couple weeks here until the second of the 2 pre-patches launches that we're able to actually get that out on live, but we'll see what happens. And then finally, last but not least, I'm going to put Demo up in the A tier. I think everyone's going to be really surprised. It's going to continue to smack. We're going to have a ton of fun. Warlocks continue to be wicked tanky, and we're going to smash some serious damage numbers here. So that's kind of where we're at from a talent tier build, I'd say. Really, this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for Dragonflight. I think the tier trees are going to bring a whole lot more variety, and we're going to be able to get a little bit more creative in terms of all the different spec balancing that we've kind of experienced leading up to this point. So let me know your thoughts below. Is the tier list kind of cringe? Is it something that we should play around a bit more with? Ultimately, let me know in the comments, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace, folks.